here today, surrounded by entrepreneurs, investors, and innovators who share a common vision for driving positive change in the world.
Our mission is to help founders go global.
留这一页就好。
DemoDay 最辛苦的地方是我们已经设立这个日期，那个日期通常不太能更动。那我们以终为始，会去看说，我们在那一天我们希望呈现什么，我们需要准备哪些事情，需要做哪些任务这样。
This will become impossible to be able to modify over the internet.
Big day， 这一次应该是最大的吧？对啊，
没怎么睡觉，终于要告一个段落。
不知道大家的感觉如何？就是站在 DemoDay 舞台上，
兴奋又紧张，
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 有没有很期待？
有。
Ron 嘞？
干。
帮我谁？
Hey wait。
我们之所以会用这样的流程，是因为我们知道创业家最宝贵的也就是时间。那投资人也很希望可以找得到好的团队，所以我们才创造把我们的 DemoDay 当成一个 platform， 希望去媒合不管是投资的需求，或是找资金的需求，或找合作的需求。
我们为什么要 prepare 这个 DemoDay？ 为什么要做这个 pitch？
希望大家看到我们做，
对，
让它变简单，
让做实话可以变得更简单，对不对？我们希望可以找到好的投资人、好的员工。你怎么样可以找到他们？就是 deliver 一个让人家相信你 vision 的 pitch。
我们今天不看稿哦，然后 SparkLabs 的同仁会帮忙计时，所以大家就尽力表现 ，OK？
Hi, I'm Emma, the founder and the CEO of Carbon Clean Energy. Recently, the global stock market dropped 10% in one single week.
Our solution is 97%.
之前我是在海外工作，然后那时候回来台湾，就是觉得我想帮台湾创造一个下一个的独角兽，所以我觉得在台湾你要成功，你要长得更大，你一定要走国际市场。So I think the projection is lower, or you can say projected 500K. 因为我们就是真的是从0到1，就是像我们创业讲的，从0到1其实是最难的。我们就从了它第一版可能讲了没有人听得懂的script， 然后那个 slide 可能大家也完全看不懂的 slide 开始，然后看到一个他讲的是一个那么 powerful 的故事，那以及他们最后讲的那个愿景，那我其实是觉得很骄傲的。
SparkLabs 我们自己常讲就是 make it better every day， 我们都在想怎么做得更好、更快、更有影响力。那这件事情说起来容易，但要能够坚持做下去，本身就需要很多的能量了哈。那所以我觉得在我这个位置，真的要很享受各种自己设下的挑战，不想要轻易妥协。接下来来预测你接下来有什么样的行为模式，对吧？也愿意在创业家最低潮的时候陪着他们度过，这是我这个位置很独特的风景。其实办到第10届，真的是一个很漫长的历程啊。因为办第1届的时候都还在想会不会有第2届，然后后来第2届办到第3届的时候遇到疫情，第3届、第4届的时候是每个人都戴口罩，然后都做间隔座，然后再到我们这个第5届全线上，那时候3级警戒。其实我们每次都觉得好像每次的 DemoDay 都好像是把它当最后一次在办。对，那我自己也是把我们的 DemoDay 当成我自己最后一次办这个 DemoDay， 所以我就不想要有保留。那因为创业很多时候这样，如果你没有募到资金，你没有找到好的市场，这很有可能是你最后一次在这个舞台上表现。 那如果你知道这是最后一次在舞台上表现，你又怎么不会全力以赴呢？其实 SparkLabs 的角色跟任务始终就是想要帮助创业家真的减少一些探索跟摸索的那种未知感。那我们知道在摸着石头过河，你都不知道下一步到底会不会被冲走。以往你在操作这个画面是用，比如说10个小时完成，我们现在10分钟就搞定。那这10个颜色你就会去想我怎么去运用它。然后通常 logo 就会需要它的颜白，有时候是需要白色。自己看到这些创业家，我们讲就是这些高低起伏，我们自己感触也蛮深的啦。那真的是同时参与了60-70个创业故事，然后创业的历程，那看到很多团队现在都有很好的开花结果，我们是觉得蛮骄傲的。有没有很期待？
期待，非常期待。
也因为你有很明确的愿景目标，会有更多人愿意加入你，相信你，一起完成你所设下那个看似不容易的任务。那也因为这样，每一步实际上这样往下个阶段迈进，步步踏实，然后步步也很刻骨铭心。但是你往回头看，你不知道原来已经走了这么远。
I was in the US. It was late at night. I dropped a message in our MedAI SparkLabs group chat, probably around 4 a.m. Taiwan time. Edgar replied immediately. We ended up talking until almost 6 a.m. It was just him being there, listening, encouraging, reminding me that I was not alone.
But the lesson I learned during my time with SparkLab have stayed with me, and they continue to shape the way I lead, build, and think today.
All thanks to SparkLabs Taiwan team. I'm truly grateful. You guys are awesome. I'm looking forward to unlocking more new opportunities together.
Thank you guys for all that you've done for my startup and for every startup that's gone through your accelerator program.
SparkLabs gave us more than just a platform. Gave us the confidence to go bigger, faster, and with more clarity.
We just want to take a moment to say thank you and reflect on the journey and what it's really meant to us.
当 SparkLabs 带我站上韩国首尔 DemoDay 的舞台上，我永远记得那天站上去的震撼。原来世界的舞台是这么大。
SparkLabs 台湾团队整个团队都充满热情，而且让人感觉到真诚。我想对 SparkLabs 说的一句话：你们是台湾新创圈无可取代的存在。
很希望借由 SparkLabs 让我们能够让世界看见。
I love SparkLabs Taiwan. They're the best.
谢谢 SparkLabs 带我们来韩国。
Because at SparkLabs, we dream big and we go global.
Dream big, go global.
Dream big, go global.
Dream big,
go global. Go global.
Welcome to SparkLabs DemoDay 10. Woo! We have guests from all around the world come to Taiwan. Thanks for coming to Taiwan. What a milestone. It's 10 badges, can you imagine? We've curated helped more than 100 founders get involved with more than 10,000 coaching and mentoring hours. We've accelerated more than 60 companies and accumulated, they raised more than 500 million follow-on investments, together with a combined valuation with 2.6 billion. this is the moment that Taiwan is on the global tech stage. Taiwan has always been a quiet powerhouse, a global leader in semiconductor, precision manufacturing, and hardware. But today, something is shifting. We are witnessing Taiwan move from the backbone of tech to the frontier of innovation. And this big tech is all curated from the early stage startups. We support early stage startup founders because it's energizing, it's interesting, it's fun. Most importantly, all the hardworking founders, they are crazily devoting into the business that they've been trusting in. We want to help them shape the future and get it possible to get some money back. We help founders through our VC Accelerator program. It's a 3-month-long accelerator program. We help them match with mentors and domain expertise to help them to revisit the product market fit and to connect them with the global business development opportunities. And most importantly, to help them raise the next round of capital through the demo days like today. It's a new generation of founders that is rising, or at the cutting edge of AI. There's a lot of things are happening, and they think globally. Those fields are from like AI, sustainability, robotics, fintech, health tech, and many others. Our mission is to support founders grow internationally, faster, smarter, and stronger. So starting from 3 years ago, we're not just supporting them through our accelerator program, we also take founders to expand to different markets. So besides South Korea, last year, we took founders to visit Saudi. It's a new market. So I would like to let you take a look about our Saudi trip. Things are happening very fast. It's an AI era, and it's more than transformation. Our journey is not just in digital economy. Everything is shifting, everything is changing. The way we work, the way we diagnose the disease, the way we see the automatic work, a lot of things are happening right now. So we are using AI to solve the real problem, to solve the hard problems. So this Demo Day theme is an AI-first innovation. And not just from Taiwan. We also want to gather the global brilliant minds to share about their experiences and perspective. So we got the privilege to invite the 3 amazing speakers to come to Taiwan and to share about their views and also their experiences in different fields. So today's panel will be amazing. But we cannot do this alone. I want to especially thank for one of our top sponsors who support us to make this happen. I would like to welcome Airwallex, our top sponsor, to say some few words.
Hi everyone, my name is Arnold. I'm the APAC General Manager for Airwallex. It's really great to be here, and thank you so much, Edgar and SparkLabs, for inviting us. Why do we want to support a startup event in Taiwan? Because we are a startup ourselves as well, and we really resonate with SparkLabs' mission of dream big and go global. So what is Airwallex? AirWallex is a global payment and financial platform for businesses of all sizes to operate anywhere, anytime around the world. Because as SparkLabs mentioned, we know any successful startup and business will need to go global from day one. And that story for us started 10 years ago. Our 4 founders basically were university students in Melbourne. They are, like many of you, are entrepreneurs. They invested in a coffee shop 10 years ago. And the first thing that you do as a coffee shop owner is to buy coffee beans, is to import coffee beans. They went to a bank account, they went to the bank, tried to open a bank account, and tried to pay their overseas suppliers. And that took them forever. I'm sure as investors, as founders, you guys will have faced pains dealing with your bank and opening bank accounts. One of our founder, our CEO, Jack, who was an ethics engineer, knew there must be a way, a faster way of dealing with payments, dealing with banking in the 21st century. Being an engineer himself, he started the idea of AirWallex, basically helping businesses with payments. That was 10 years ago in 2015. Fast forward to today, we actually are a huge startup in APAC. I'm proud to say we would be the biggest B2B fintech startup in APAC. We were founded in Australia 10 years ago, but right now we're headquartered in Singapore with 1,700 employees across almost 30 locations worldwide. We actually just finished our Series F funding 2 days ago. We raised another 300 million, making our valuation at 6.2 billion. And we're one of the only 2 Australian startups that basically got all the Australian top VCs funding. We're also invested by top VCs around the world, including Sequoia, Tencent, and Visa as well. Our journey, we hope, would be your journey as well. We really resonate with what SparkLabs mentioned, dream big and go global. And that is why we have, all 10 years along, we have always supported startups. We help startups to collect money. We help startups to manage them foreign exchange. And we help startups to make sure they spend their money wisely. We help them issue corporate cards. We help them pay their suppliers in the most efficient manner. Throughout the past 10 years, we have supported almost 150,000 businesses around the world with a lot of major names using us as well. But our heart has always been with startups. We have launched programs for AirWallex for startups all around the world so that we could support startup and founders like yourself. So hopefully, through this, we can partner with you guys and we can also empower your journey to dream big and go global. Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely need a senpai, the big pro, big sis, to support early stage startup when they keep growing big. Besides AirWallex, we are also lucky to be supported by a group of supporters, including the government officials and a lot of big companies. Thank you so much for supporting us, believe in our vision, and to help our portfolio company. Thank you so much. I want to especially thank for Georgia Coffee, who serve the coffee for our founders that can keep energizing. And also whenever they are stressed or they reach the new milestone, we are thankful to have Kavalan to support us, that you can cheers and you can release the pressure. We build the company to go global from day one. As SparkLabs, our motto, it's dream big, go global. As SparkLabs always said, it takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a village to raise a startup. So we welcome governments, corporates, investors, and also different entities to support early stage startup founders to go international. Last year, our last batch, we had 6 companies pitched on stage. These companies, all within 4 months, they raised the next round of funding. Some of the familiar names on the page. And I believe this time it might be faster. So this time we have 7 companies gonna pitch on stage later on. We have Alpha FinTech, we have Carbon Clean Energy, we have Global AI, Opt Intel, RVI, Wonder AI, and DemoDay AI. Celebrating 10 badges. We are looking forward to see what's next. So without further ado, let's get inspired! Woo!
Hi, I am Emma, founder and the CEO of Carbon Clean Energy. To meet net zero by 2050, global brands like Apple and H&M are demanding their suppliers to cut at least 50% of emissions or switch to 100% renewables by 2030. Otherwise, the suppliers will be replaced. This has put intense pressure at high-emission sectors like oil, semiconductors, steel, and petrochemicals. They have spent trillions in cutting up to 20% of emission by reducing electricity usage. However, only this cannot achieve net zero, since over 80% of emissions directly come from the power generation and the industrial process. So, carbon capture is the only way to remove those direct emissions. However, the current only without utilization, captured CO2 will eventually release back to the atmosphere, just creating costs without adding any value. This is why carbon capture must be paired with carbon utilization, CCU, turning CO2 into valuable chemicals and fuels. And potentially, we can reduce up to 4 billion tons of CO2 emission together per year. However, the current utilization solutions are too energy intensive, expensive, and really hard to scale, and often costing over $50 million per site. This is where Carbon Clean Energy comes in. We turn captured CO2 into valuable chemicals and fuels that can be reused across industries. For those high emission sectors, we have built a CO2 electrolyzer that uses just CO2 and water. And with our exclusive catalyst, we can convert CO2 into valuable chemicals and fuels with very low carbon footprints, like syngas, ethylene, and ethanol. These chemicals are the key building blocks for daily feedstocks, plastics, and sustainable aviation fuels. Moreover, our electrolyzer can reduce over 60% of emission at the emission source. Take syngas, for example, we can replace 20% natural gas usage with 30% lower price and saving 50% at commercial scale. When combining with grid electricity, our electrolyzer can produce chemicals with negative carbon footprints. And our electrolyzer design is easily deployed and integrated with the current carbon capture setup. Currently, our business model combines direct system sale with recurring revenue from consumables and replacement. Within 2 months, we have secured 3 pilot clients, including 2 top petrochemical companies, Changchun and LCY, and 1 steel company, Donghe. Also, we have partnered with the top Japanese wire and cable company for a market expansion. Next, we are scaling up our system to 20 times the reaction area per catalyst layer, and with 20% lower energy usage. By 2026, we are aiming to meet 500 to 1,000 tons of CO2 conversion per unit. And by 2027, 5,000 tons of CO2 conversion per unit. That equals to 1,000 cars' annual emissions. By 2026, the Taiwan market is projected to be 200 billion, And then the global market will be 2.5 trillion with 30% annual growth rates. It's huge. Next, we're expanding globally, starting from Asia and Australia, and then moving on to the Europe and the US. Well, we are aiming to meet 50 million revenue in 2027 and 200 million in 2029. We're a team from Stanford, US, and the UC Berkeley, advised by Professor Joe Egger, who is a global leader in CO2 electrolysis, and the 2 industrial leaders. More importantly, we're backed by SparkLabs. Our common clean energy, we turn the emissions into more opportunities to create a sustainable future with CO2 transport, chemicals, and the fuels. Join us in shaping the future. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Yang, co-founder and the CEO of Global AI. How would you say this dish is delicious? Let's hear what the Gen Z American might say.
Oh, this food slaps you.
Yeah. Well, how would a millennial Japanese might say?
これめっちゃ美味しい。
How about an older generation Chinese might say?
这道菜好吃，健康。
See, same message, 3 totally different ways to connect with you. But wait, there are actually many more ways to connect across different culture, language, and generations. But 70% of the marketing content is just generic. It failed to optimize, and that is killing your conversions because they just speak at you, not to you. That means brands are actually leaving 40% of their potential revenue on the table. Here's why. 75% of the shoppers, like me, we want to buy products in our native language and tones. Many of us actually want to pay a premium for it. 70% of the world, it doesn't speak English at all. So for culturally precise, multilingual content, that is a massive $260 billion opportunity. If you do want to get this opportunity, you could go with agencies for white glove service, but they may charge you up to $3 per foreign keyword, or $15 a minute on the video localization. Tools like ChatGPT, they give you generic output, and that could also quickly drain your marketing budget without conversions. No solutions today fully integrates localization, culture precision, and high performance into one single seamless platform. And that is where Global AI comes in. We are the first AI-powered multilingual content optimization engine built to convert. Marketers could just simply drop in a URL like a product page, specify a target platform like Google Search Ad. Then our proprietary AI is going to scan and analyze your content with marketing intelligence, cultural intelligence, and your brand voice. Then voila, a high-performance Google ad campaign is ready for you in just a second. If you drop in a short-form video URL, let's see what's going to happen.
我哋喺面診抗衰嘅時候，最常見或者經常私信我哋嘅。
See, the original video was in Cantonese. We seamlessly transform it with the same tone, emotion, and voice with translate subtitle.
カウンセリングでお客様からよくいただく質問。
All powered by our own models, LLMs, search engine data, and third-party data. The result, they're fantastic. We're 95% cheaper, 97% faster, and most of all, it just converts. Our customers love seeing those real impacts. Wenjing, a leading travel agency in the US, we transformed their Google search ad from Chinese to Spanish and English. We saw their ad interaction rate went up by 51%, but at the same time, their ad cost went down by 62%. AI Beauty Clinic, a medical spa in the UK, we transformed their Google search and video ads to Japanese. We doubled their ad performance. As a result, they uplifted or increased their ad spending to catch these 4x conversions because we instantly unlocked a huge potential market for them. Since launching in November 2024, we have already acquired 5 paid trial clients, including AnyMind, and closed a commercial deal with the largest Apple ads agency in the Greater China area. In just 3 months, we have already reached $25,000. Next, we're launching a public API for the agencies to integrate with, a self-serve SaaS front-end for the brands to connect. Our goal is to reach 400 agencies SMBs, hit $2 million ARR by 2026, and 10 million ARR by 2029. We are a team to scale, and we have done that successfully as Googlers before. I led the ads translation service at Google, driving $2 billion ARR from scratch. I also led the continuous localization pipeline, powers 800 plus Google products. My co-founder, Samantha, she was one of the founding architects for the overall Google Ads, leading platform, shopping, and performance. We are backed by SparkLabs Taiwan, Ganjos, and angel investors, including EVP of Starbucks, and we are looking for potential customers, investors, and partners to join us in this exciting journey. From content localization to continuously unlocking new markets for you, our vision is to be your co-pilot for global expansion. Let's go global and act local together. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm J.H. He, founder of RVI. Imagine if highways stay the same, but traffic triple every year. Guess what? You get a jam, right? That's exactly what's happening in AI data center today. Compute is speeding up, but data transmission is stuck in traffic. GPUs double data flow every 2 years, but the wire that carry the data, they haven't caught up. Today's data center can consume up to 500 megawatt of power, like powering a small city. And nearly 40% of that doesn't go into computing. It gets lost as unwanted heat. To put it in perspective, every time you ask ChatGPT a single question, enough heat is generated to boil a pot of water. That's a digital waste. So how did we get here? For the decades, people rely on the copper wire to transfer the data between chips, between boards. But the copper cannot keep up with today's AI workload. So how to fix it? IC industry is trying to something called CPO, called package optics. Instead of using light, electricity, to send the data between chips. It's promising, but today's solutions still heavily rely on bulky laser, which is very hard to integrate. At RVI, we are doing differently. Our technology is called Smart Link. We build an array of micro emitters. It will move data faster, cooler, with less energy. Think of that as a stadium of micro light working together right on the silicon. It's modular in design, built for 3D packaging. That means ultra-high bandwidth and less power. So we are not just solving the tech bottleneck, we are building light highways that tomorrow's AI will run on. So it's not just a lab idea, it's real. We built the very first AI production line for assembling those tiny emitters. We use AI to guide thousands of micro optics into place. with submicron precision, and yes, it can be used to fix or adjust every single one. We are focused on one high-impact market, which is optical link. It's early but accelerating. What is our go-to-market strategy? It's twofold. First, licensing to chip maker and IC design houses. Second, selling plug-and-play modules to OEMs, integrators, and hyperscaler. We start shipping this year, and we are targeting $100 million revenue by 2028. Sam and I found the RVI, and we are the team from Apple, Broadcom, Intel, and Qualcomm. We are backed by SparkLabs and collaborate with E3 and multiple partners in our ecosystems. Our technique, SmartLink, delivers what the AI chip industry needs most. That is lower power, real scalability, and seamless integration to meet the AI era. We are VI, where AI builds AI. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Serena, co-founder of Alpha FinTech. Recently, the global stock market dropped 10% in 1 week, wiping out 10 trillion in market value. Especially for institutional investors, they have been greatly affected. The primary issue is improper asset allocation. Institutions manage portfolios through in-house teams, struggling to select investment products from millions of options. Outsourced advisors, charging the high fee with poor performance and low transparency. Low yield deposit, sacrifice the long-term rewards. The demand for AI-powered is very important. The mismatched asset allocation unlock 1.1 trillion global opportunities, covering university endowments, corporate funds, and the investment-linked insurance. The demand for AI-powered and automatic investing is urgent. Meet Alpha FinTech. We are AI fund manager, Taiwan's first and the only robo-advisor fully licensed by FSC, specially built for institutional portfolios. Unlike typical robo-advisors only focus on individuals, Alpha is designed for complexity. We deliver tailored investment solutions across endowments, employee benefit trust, and ESG mandates. So far, Alpha robo-advisor already secures 70 million AUM. Year-to-date, the investment return achieves 6.5%, which is 15% IRR. It's better than S&P 500 by 5%. Our AI-powered Alpha engine handles the entire investment cycle. Here is how it works. 1, creating investment plan to fit your needs, such as investing in green products for CSR goals. 2, we invest in global ETFs or mutual funds, balancing equities and bonds to manage market risk. 3, our AI is just like your smart assistant, watching the market 24/7, keeping your portfolio on track. 4, withdraw funds from your investment portfolio based on market conditions ensuring you get the most from your investment. Our client, Fengjia University, one of Taiwan's top private universities, adopted Alpha to manage their 30 million endowments. We improved their net return by 3.1%, generating 1.2 million in additional annual gains. We charge a fee based on AUM under 0.5%. Our go-to-market strategy is through embedded finance. With modular architecture, we can integrate our platform into client system in 8 weeks. In Taiwan, our partners include the biggest online fund trading platform, FundRich Securities, Sinopec Securities, and the Yahoo Finance. Next, we are expanding into Singapore, Hong Kong, and South Korea, Asia's fast-growing robo-advisory markets. We are projecting a revenue from 1 million in 2025 to 5 million in 2028, achieving 10 million in 2029 to achieve 10 times AUM increase. I am Serena, co-founder with James, bringing deep expertise from top investment banks and AI labs. Our investment committee hails from Stanford, NTU, and the leading UK, Hong Kong financial hubs. We are invested by SparkLabs Taiwan and Six Techs. Now we are racing to accelerate global expansion through strategic partnerships. Our vision is to build a trusted AI investment engine for the world's leading institutions. Let's shape for the future of finance together. Thank you.
Who here loves music? Oh, I love music too. I am Bill. I come from a family of generational opera singers. And growing up with artists, I saw firsthand how hard it is to learn and make music. Like many of you, my childhood dream is to make my own song. But trust me, I tried, and it's hard. Producing a single track costs up to $20,000, a dozen professionals to work with, and weeks to finish. And if you want to do home studio production, this is what the software looks like. An interface designed for rocket scientists. I want a tool so simple and intuitive that my 5-year-old nephew can make music. Here's what he made yesterday.
Baby shark, do-do-do-do-do-do, swinging through the ocean with a jazzy groove too.
Introducing Wandera, the first AI agent for music. And for the first time, anyone can make music conversationally. Let's give it a try.
In the heart of innovation, where dreams ignite, founders chasing visions.
Real music creation requires iteration. So let's remake our song into Mandarin, Hong Kong 90s style. Wandera is built on the latest agentic frameworks. A typical music workflow may require generation from multiple AI models, music software to edit, and external tools to publish. Our agent can do all of that autonomously. Unlike our competitors, our AI models are fully licensed. We made a landmark licensing deal with independent labels with access to over 15 million tracks, so you have the peace of mind to use our tool to produce music. Here are some differences between Wandera and our competitors. We are the music AI infrastructure. We serve consumers, creators, professionals, and enterprise with custom solutions. So far, 15% of the beta testers are already paying. Our goal for this year is 100K paying customers and 20 million ARR. But for 2026, we're eyeing 10x growth to over 100 million ARR. Sounds ambitious? Here's where the revenue will come from. The professional production is totally underserved due to a lack of licensed AI services. Consumers are demanding more personalized and creative music, and they are looking into AI. We're already working with major labels and artists for AI-powered new features and share revenue. Spotify let us listen. TikTok made us share. Wandera will enable everyone to create the music you love. We're a team of 15 professionals, including the former legal counsel to YouTube Music, a former SVP from Warner Music, and 11 engineers and researchers who shipped flagship models from some of the best tech companies. Wandera is backed by SparkLabs Taiwan, Cherubic, Abstract Venture, and HF0 Soma Capital from Silicon Valley, and the Shibuya city of Tokyo. Our mission is to build general intelligence for music, and we're the best team to build it. The most exciting part, Wandera launches today. Be the first to try our platform and make wonderful music. If you share our vision, please contact us at founders@wandera.ai. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Lawrence Chen, founder and CEO of Opto Intel. Our mission is to transform the care of Alzheimer's disease. I believe by 2030, Alzheimer's dementia can be prevented. For many of us, Alzheimer's is personal. It affects over 416 million people. Many of them don't know they have it. Beta amyloid is a hallmark for detecting Alzheimer's. The plaque is toxic. It causes irreversible damage to the brain. Alzheimer's progresses through 3 stages, starting with a silent preclinical stage, and over years, eventually advanced into dementia. Until recently, we can only diagnose and treat Alzheimer's at the late stage. Given the irreversible brain damage, most treatment have failed. Now, with newly approved therapies, we have a golden opportunity to treat and stop the disease at the early stage, allowing patients to live a normal life. Well, this is a major breakthrough. It is propelling the Alzheimer's market to surpass $34 billion by 2033. As we have learned from colon cancer, routine screening is crucial for early detection, which leads to better outcome. So the question is, how can we detect beta amyloid, which can silently build up in the brain for up to 30 years? Well, there are a few ways of doing it. First, it's called a PET scan. It's a 3-hour-long procedure. It costs $3,000 at least, and it exposes you to high radiation. The second is by driving a needle into your spinal cords. It sounds painful. Blood tests has shown some promise in detecting Alzheimer's at late stage, which means you already have dementia, but has failed to capture the disease early on. Now things are about to change. So up to Intel, we are making diagnosing Alzheimer's as simple as measuring blood pressure. We're building a compact headset that enables early screening at scale. The technology scans the retina. It's part of the brain, but it's located inside the eye, detecting changes such as beta amyloid and tau proteins. So with this technology, we can achieve PET scan accuracy at just 1/10 of the cost without any radiation or needles. And let me show you how it works.
The process is quick and comfortable. The headset detects the pupils automatically, emits a brief, colorful flash. The procedure takes less than 1 minute to scan both eyes simultaneously without the need for pupil dilation.
Currently, we're working with pharmaceutical companies, helping them with two major pain points. Number one, we can help them to speed up patient enrollment process for their Alzheimer's studies. And we can help them to identify the patients for treatment. In return, we collect data, which we use towards our FDA approval. Once FDA cleared, we will launch preventive screening and enable early detection at scale. We're a young company. In just 1 year, we already fast-tracked into a clinical stage company. That's 3 times the speed of industry average. Partnering with leading institutions, we have so far scanned 20 patients, and the early result is promising. It shows an 85% correlation with PET scan. We have been approached by 2 large pharma companies seeking our support in their Alzheimer's studies. By the end of 2026, we'll complete our proof of concept and fully integrate our technology into all future Alzheimer's studies. And by the end of 2030, we are projecting a peak revenue of $300 million from clinical trial optimization. And within 5 years of FDA approval, we project a revenue of up to $2.75 billion from preventive screening. So beyond Alzheimer's, we can also adapt our technology to detect over 20 diseases, which include Parkinson's, stroke, and heart attack. These are not 20 separate tests. All it takes is 1 image, 1 minute. Our current investors include SparkLabs Taiwan and GenFund. I'm a Harvard-educated surgeon and serial entrepreneur. Previously, I founded a biotech company that was acquired for $1 billion. CTO Zach is an MIT-trained engineer with deep experience in hyperspectral technology. And Mingmin is a world-class AI professor at the University of Pennsylvania. We're here looking for strategic investors and contract manufacturers. So please join our mission. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Very nice to be here. I'm Daniel, co-founder and CEO of MedAI. We've all seen the rise of generative AI. ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Llama, all powered by large language models. But what's the next leap? Let me tell you, it's not on your screen. Think about humanoids, robotic arms, autonomous vehicles. These are what the industry is calling physical AI. And it's poised to transform $50 trillion worth of global industry. But here's the catch. Physical AI doesn't learn by reading. It learns by doing. And to do that, it needs a world to explore. But right now, that world does not exist at scale. Ask any robotics or industrial AI team, and they'll tell you that simulation is the bottleneck. A simple warehouse simulation environment would take hundreds or thousands of hours to build. A complex factory, hundreds of thousands. And tools that are used to build these simulations are costly, rigid, disconnected from how AI learns. That leads to huge delays, limited testing, and high failure rates in the real world. And this is not a future problem. It's already costing industries billions in failed automation, especially in logistics and precise manufacturing. We've built smarter AI brains, but we haven't given them proper worlds with data to train in. Without intelligent digital twins, Physical AI cannot scale. And this is where MedAI comes in. We've built MedGen, the world's first scalable, AI-native, vertical-specific simulation platform. It transforms all these 2D blueprints, such as CAD layouts, CAD drawings, into high-fidelity digital twins in minutes. And these are not just 3D visuals. They are simulation-ready, operational, physically accurate environments where AI can plan, navigate, and learn. We start with two of the most demanding verticals in the world, warehousing and semiconductors. In July, we'll be releasing MedGen for warehouse, enabling AI-powered simulations for logistics optimization, production planning, and robotics training. Then we'll release MedGen for semiconductor, enabling AI-powered factory planning, layouts, construction optimizations, and more. While corporations are spending thousands of hours to build simulation environments for one single site, we generate them and start simulations of complete factories in minutes. And we use that to train the next generation of industrial AI. But how do we monetize? Two ways. Firstly, we build these domain knowledges through co-creation developments with industry leaders, generating revenue from day one, while also defining the simulation standards. Then, as we scale, it shifts to a subscription-based model where we provide the modular environments as well as agentic AI applications, such as production planning, optimizations, robotics training, synthetic data generation, and more. And this is not a pre-revenue concept. We've already locked in $4 million for 2025, and we're aiming to achieve 10 million by year end. With our platform launch and the global uprising demand, we're looking at a very steep growth curve ahead. Our go-to-market is top-down and ecosystem first. We work with one of the largest chip manufacturers in the world, which I cannot name here, as well as automation giants, to define this simulation infrastructure layer where the ecosystem begins to scale. Our team combines deep expertise in AI, 3D, robotics, and industrial domain knowledge. Our founder and CTO, Renton, has over a decade of experience integrating AI and 3D, and he's also one of the only 2 NVIDIA AI ambassadors in Taiwan. I come from finance and manufacturing and led the digital transformation of my family business, where I firsthand experienced this AI adoption gap and co-founded MedAI with a vision to solve this industry bottleneck. This gives us a very rare founder market fit, deep tech capabilities, buyer empathy, industrial execution experiences, and more. Since 2023, within the last 2 years, we signed multiple collaborations with huge leading giants in the world. And we actually became the first ever startup in Taiwan to receive direct investments from NVIDIA US. And not only that, we also partner with strategic investors such as ChemMech, Solomon, and obviously SparkLabs to scale our industry presence as well as our team. And right now, we're ready to scale globally, with the US being our top priority due to the high labor costs and also the policy-driven industry shift that is happening right now. The next AI revolution is not going to be smarter chatbots. It's about mastering the real world. At MedAI, our mission is to simulate the world that will train physical and industrial AI, just like LLMs did with generative AI, so that we can realize our vision, making real to sim and sim to real possible. I'm Daniel from MedAI. Very nice connecting with you. Join us on shaping the future of physical AI together. Thank you.
At SparkLabs, we deeply value the transformation that AI brings. Globally, we have seen the evolution from the large language models to the AI agents. And to capture such evolution and go deeper from models to market, we have invited 3 industry speakers who have flown in for today, for today's panel. So the panel will be moderated by the co-founder and partner of SparkLabs Group, Bernard. So I'm going to hand the microphone to Bernard. Let's welcome Bernard.
everyone. I'm Bernard Moon. I'm a co-founder of SparkLabs, and just very glad to be here since it's been a long, almost 5 years since the last I was in Taipei due to the COVID time warp. Why don't we begin by, I'll let the distinguished panelists introduce themselves.
So hi, I'm Yaron Haviv. I'm co-founder and CTO of a company acquired by McKinsey called Iguazio. Many years of entrepreneurship, VP, CTO roles. I also founded another company that was sold to Mellanox, which got sold to NVIDIA in the networking space. Today I mastered the area of AI. I wrote a book on operationalizing AI. I do keynote speeches. And within McKinsey, I work with top tier clients on how to productize their AI efforts, how to build their platforms and products for scale.
Hi, my name is Sang-Soo. I've been in the tech industry for maybe 25 years, and I was in Google for maybe 20 years, 18 years, and I was in the Rivian in maybe about 8 years. So throughout this tech industry journey, so I've been focusing on building the AI products at Google and even the Rivian side. So thanks to Bernard, I just came here to talk about the AI with all of you guys. I'm so excited. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, just as quick background, I was fortunate enough to meet Sang-Soo 15 years ago because he overlapped with my wife, who was at Google, from 2004 to 2013. And so I met a bunch of great Googlers like Sang-Soo, and then one of our advisors, Vint Cerf, who my wife was fortunate enough to be office suite mates with. And yeah, so why don't we begin by your journey at, Sang-Soo, your journey at Google and most recently Rivian. Like what were like the most sort of difficult challenges in building an AI product? And also what was your greatest sort of satisfactions?
That's a good question. So I've been building lots of products at Google, starting with the search, and the last project was a part of the kind of Gemini work. Most of my tenure at Google was like almost 10 years. Like from the founding stage, I was building the Google Assistant from the ground. So even at the Rivian, I was working on building the Gen AI-based assistant products in the in-car infotainment system side. So most of the challenges that I encountered, maybe I'm gonna divide into them multiple phase. The first is hiring. I'm sure that everyone sitting here has the same problem. No one was born as a Gen AI engineer, by the way, or scientist, by the way. So that very few people learned about even transform model or even Gen AI specific techniques and knowledges. Most of people used to work on just generic suite, generic software engineers. So that hiring the right candidate to build the right models or right products, even right infrastructures, is very tough. Once the technology has been moving into the LLM side, the Gen AI side, there was a big challenges. Even at Google, was very hard to attract those talent because, as I said, most of the people were just generic suites. So outside the Google, even tougher. Yeah. So because need to attract these people, compete against the other big tech, and also lots of new AI startup companies. After you hire the right people, the next problem was definitely a resource. So that whenever you rely on the big company, big tech companies like a cloud, very expensive. I'm sure that if you want to post-train or even forget about the pre-training, a post-training or even a minor fine-tunings, it requires some money. You need to get some credit from this cloud service to get these GPUs and then run your a pre-trained jobs or post-trained jobs and so on. So that was a kind of problem. So that to tackle that problem, sometimes some startup companies buys their own GPUs by themselves. But once your data getting larger and you need to build out some sizable models, eventually you will encounter power problem too, by the way. So all the like this resource problem, GPUs and even like the power itself problem, after you resolve the problem, is next big challenge is data. So now you have everything to play with, but as you know about it, learning the one even post-training requires a lot of monies. And if you don't have a right high quality data, I'm not talking about the quantity here, like a quality here. In that case, you need to repeat this process one more time, which is very expensive, by the way. Even though you have a checkpoint, still very expensive. So that this like a fancy, very high paid AI engineer, what their daily job is just looking into the data and pre-process the data, make sure that the data is right or not. So these are my journeys to build out the AI products. I have more challenges that I can talk about it. These are the main challenges maybe I already encountered. I'm sure that most of people as an entrepreneur might have it.
Why don't we go to, so you're on, what about Iguazio? That was your second startup, but what were the biggest challenges you faced while building that company?
Yeah, so before creating Iguazio, I was VP data center at Mellanox, which now acquired by...
I'll put it closer. Just closer.
I was VP of data center in Mellanox, which got acquired by NVIDIA. So we built the largest data centers. Our clients included Google and Azure and Facebook and all the different cloud providers, as well as, I built Oracle Exadata and SAP HANA and other infrastructure for data. And I figured that there was an issue. They didn't use the technology, underlying technology, because I'm hardware and software engineer in my profession. So we wanted to build, essentially leverage things like Flash and other new technologies in a much more efficient way. So we started with the notion of building real-time analytics, data engines for real-time analytics. We actually delivered something which was 20 or 30 times faster and more cost-effective than anything else in the market. And as we started creating the company, we got some of the leading people in the industry in that, like my co-founder Orit was leading the storage practice at IBM, leading for all the Flash business unit. My other co-founder, another Yaron, founded Extreme.io, which got acquired by EMC, their EMC Flash business. So we had sort of a super team of data experts, especially in high performance. And part of the challenge that we stumbled into, we produced the best data analytics engine for, which was very cost effective, but you go to people in the organization are very conservative. Data people are the most conservative people in the organization, and you're starting to stumble into how you're going to sell them. In the same time, there was all this transition towards cloud. So our assumptions around hardware, physical hardware, how it behaves. Now you go to a VM, which has poor networking, very sort of unsustained sort of performance, etc. We had to also make changes to our technology, underlying software to really meet the same performance levels. So what we had to do is essentially start shifting on the business side to areas that are less religious. So data infrastructure is the most religious part of the organization. It's part of IT, which means it's part of a cost structure thinking. So we wanted to work with more innovation-oriented people that are faster to market, et cetera. So starting to make a transition towards AI, because the best use case for our technology was inferencing and things like that. So with that, we started transitioning to a much more innovation-oriented companies. So they're willing to play with startups, not just established players, partnering with NVIDIA and cloud providers, et cetera. And this is where we started getting more traction and extended the technology more to the AI side and building things around operationalizing AI and serverless technology we created open source was about 100 times faster than Amazon Lambda. So our challenges were never on the technology side. Most of the challenges are as early entrepreneurs. So today I mentor a lot of entrepreneurs in their early stage. And I tell them first, MVP. Just think about what's the basic thing you can take out, go to market as fast as possible. Very simple messaging, not too complicated. And then the focus is not having the best technologies, essentially go to market, product market fit, business, hungry people on sales and know how to get to those early adopters, etc. So this is the journey. At a certain point, we had some hard times through COVID. I usually say startup is like a roller coaster. You have good times, you get investments, you get industry acknowledgement, and then bad times, you run out of money, and you have COVID and things like that. But eventually, McKinsey looked for all the startups in the area and examined about 1,000 companies in the space. And because they wanted to go into more implementation and deeper technology, they acquired our company. And today, we thrive within McKinsey and address global clients efficiently.
I mean, since you are now we've had 2 touch points discussing data, I'll just sort of jump ahead in my question list. I want to just touch upon this issue because even us as investors globally in the AI space, we look at, I generally put in 3 big buckets. It's the model, the foundational model side, it's the chip and infrastructure, and then it's the data side. And more we see startups trying to tackle the data side because there has been questions of whether, one, is there enough data in sort of certain industries or segments? And is it even usable data? So what are the challenges you think either like corporates or startup face in tackling this sort of data issue? Because even recently I've seen, I guess two points is Facebook, I think the past few years they bought 1 or 2 synthetic data plays, and I heard that hasn't been going so well for them. And then 2, the recent news is Niantic, the maker of Pokemon Go. They just spun off and sold their core game business to Scopely in Saudi Arabia for $3.5 billion. And they said now they're going to focus on geospatial data, that they want to be the geospatial AI company of the future. So it seems like they also are going to this whole, I would say, data gap area. So anyone want to tackle it first? Yeah,
let me quickly touch on the synthetic data. So yes, like data is kind of a key part of the modern AI, is always, by the way. So again, let me repeat one more time. So formerly, quantity was really a serious problem here, but nowadays, we need to more focus on the quality of the data instead of the quantities. So in terms of the synthetic data that Bernard just mentioned about it, sometimes it depends on domain, by the way. Sometimes people say that, oh, this is definitely we need the synthetic data. It's better than nothing. But some other domains, oh, sorry, we cannot take this synthetic data. So let me talk about a couple of use cases. The first, maybe some company want to just jump into the finance, or some company just jump into the, as we discussed about previous couple of demos, want to jump into the medical or health side. And it is very challenging in terms of the privacy perspective to use the actual raw data in the real world data to train your model, because you're going to potentially expose the PII data to the other customer or even internally within the company. Maybe have some legal lawsuit cases. So to avoid this problem, this company has to, no matter what, synthesize this data using maybe existing real world data, maybe wipe out some personal information, something like that. Still, we can call this one as a synthetic data. The other case is that some maybe other domain is very, very hard to collect the data because the data itself is naturally sparse, so that any scientist or even engineers can collect this data easily. In the case we need to, no matter what, just make the synthetic data. For example, someone is building out some maybe rocket, the technologies, and then it's very hard to find out some videos that rocket is bombing some buildings. It's very expensive to build out this data, by the way. So in the case, we need to maybe fake the data to train the model, something like that. But there are a ton of concept process about this part. But I believe that Yaron himself actually driving this data pipeline in his business. I think he can chime in more about this part.
You're on.
Yeah, so we do deal with training data, etc. But I think the more interesting data is the one that you can augment in the application itself. So, for example, what is an LLM? Essentially, is a way to understand what you're asking, and the best way is to convert it to some integration with data or some API. And this is really when we talk about agentic AI, it's about someone being able to interpret a question, extract keywords or sort of what you're trying to achieve, and then interfacing with a database or some external API. And we've seen, I'll give you an example, everyone started building those RAG tools. So you ask a question, you go search a document, and you provide the answer. And what we've seen that in a certain application of a client, it had a very poor accuracy. The results weren't always the right results. So there was, some of them were even wrong. So instead of doing that, we took the document, we applied also generative AI and other technologies to convert it into a structured data table. And then we created a tool that took the question, converted it to an API call to the structured data, and we got 90-something% accuracy instead of maybe 60. And it was actually way faster, more accurate, so all the different attributes become better. Every application we build, we have an application we launch in several places, or a real-time co-pilot agent that interacts, for example, as a broker, and it talks to about a dozen different data assets. The portfolio of the client, understanding who the client is, historical transactions, his status VIP, his risk profile, etc. Assets like stocks, information, and so on. Bank policies, and so on. All of those different data assets that we interact with are essentially forming the answer to the client. So there are a lot of aspects of how you pre-process data. For example, we just gave an example to turn it into something that's really useful in the application. There are lots of aspects of, for example, versioning. You do a question, you update the document. How do you really tell the LLM to distinguish and use only the latest version of data on flight? So data is very critical. When I work with clients, I see many sort of overlook those issues, and really they need to think in a more structured way how they build those data pipelines, how they version the data, how they take real-world data into the applications and LLM in a very efficient way. Maybe one last point we discussed is sometimes in order to improve the performance, we're taking a baseline model and we're training it, we're fine-tuning it with more data to get it to be, less hallucinations, eliminate elements of risk, reduce the number of incoming tokens and outgoing tokens, especially reducing cost aspects. So this all revolves, again, around data.
Great, thank you. Just sort of switching gears, I recently had some discussions with friends who would visit either Fortune 500 companies or large corporates in the US. And she came back and said, oh, I visited this X company. They say they have a couple hundred AI engineers. And their reaction was, oh, the emperor has no clothes. They say they have 200-300 AI engineers, but none of them are AI engineers, right? And so I'm sure it's a bit of exaggeration, but it really sort of speaks to the lack of real sort of AI talent. So what would you say if you're recommend to a CTO or CIO of a large corporate, or even any company that's really facing this issue of hiring enough AI talent?
I think it's interesting because I speak to a lot of CTOs, CIOs, CDOs, COs on those areas, through McKinsey. And they had the old traditional ML AI and say, okay, we have all those data scientists, what do we do with them? I said, okay, that's a challenge because now if I'm using LLM, I don't really need data scientists. Okay, I need software engineers and now LangChain and now data engineering, etc. Really, where we're trying to apply those data scientists is for the control layer, the observability. How do you measure hallucination? How do you identify risks? But not really to build application. To build application, you really need software people that understand the space, learn the tools, and build software. And for them, the LLM is just essentially an API. And we also discussed a minute ago, you also need data people that understand how to extract knowledge from data, how to structure data, how to version data, and so on.
What about you, Sang-Soo?
Yeah, so as I discussed earlier, it was one of my challenges to hire the right talent, by the way. So that for the startups, it's definitely even tougher because their comp is keep getting higher and higher. So my recommendation is that first, let's take a look at what is AI first, even what is the Gen AI, even LLM. What is that? That is just auto-completion, by the way. Very fancy auto-suggestion and completions based on the data, knowledge in the world. It's a very fancy model. That means actually most of stuff, you can do good job when you're gonna give the right instructions. So my recommendation to the all the startup companies, especially in the single or like just a couple of the engineers in the company or team side. First, starting with just prompt engineering. So many people think that, oh, I need to hire like pre-training or even post-training expert. I need to learn the fine-tuning by myself. You don't need it. In the beginning phase, even eventually you don't need it at all because the current model is so good. So that what you can do is that start trying to build out the right prompt. So pro tips here, try to use an AI, Gen AI, to ask them to write up your prompt. It's gonna give you really compelling result. Try out first. Prompt engineering is the way to start with, by the way. You don't need a fancy engineer that is very hard to hire. Second, it doesn't work out because you need your own information in your own domain or your company partners. Use a RAG. Just grab this data on the live and then attach it. Try to use it. In the case you don't need a post-training or even fine-tuning. And then it doesn't work out well because you need a more fancier stuff, as he just mentioned. You can use like MCP and then build out the agent. That one first. That's the one you don't need a fancy AI scientist, Gen AI scientist. Just hire just regular SWE, and these people can unlock the product for you guys with the minimum investment on this AI side. Two problem with this, try to just pre-train the model. The reason why is that, first, find out the right candidate is very tough. Second, even learning the post-training or even the fine-tuning requires a non-trivial resource, even budget and even money and so on. That's why. So when you need actual training is that at the point that you build out the prototype is working well and current usage of your existing other production LLMs, for example, like maybe ChatGPT or even Llamas or even Geminis and so on, is too expensive to learn your product in the production. In the case, it's a perfect time to find out this fancy and expensive engineer to post-train and make a distillation model here, like student model, to make it smaller. So that it's kind of affordable to you, for you, your product cases, and learn the model anytime you want without a lot of financial pressures. It's kind of my recommendation, how you can handle with these people and how you can set up the strategies here.
Did you want to add anything to it, Yaron, or no?
No, I fully agree, and I think it's really, I started talking earlier about this notion of MVP, minimal viable product. Fine-tuning, et cetera, is for the scaling phase, it's for getting the best accuracy, lowest cost, et cetera. And entrepreneurs need to think about, okay, how do I take off the shelf as much as possible, glue together a few things, get the MVP, and then think about scale.
So now let's just advice to potential entrepreneurs in the audience. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm looking at the whole AI landscape. And I see some of these big players out there, obviously like OpenAI, Anthropic, and then even some of these cloud plays that have recently either will go public or caught a lot of buzz is like CoreWeave, Lambda. But long term, I'm like, okay, OpenAI, Anthropic, they're already, the rocket ship has taken off. CoreWeave, some people say that whole space will be commoditized, right? So what do you think are the opportunities in the AI landscape right now?
From my perspective, it's more on the application side. It's not about building more infrastructure, more models, et cetera. There are enough models. I think try and take a vertical where you make something simple, get something done. I used to listen to Simon Sinek, if you know his lectures, saying get something done easier. So a user has a service that currently is a headache, a lot of hassle, etc. Get a service that he can do the same thing very easily, build something very quick as an MVP. Show the proof point, go to early clients, and this way you go and scale the business. After you have the proof points with certain clients, you get two things. Because this a lot of times I see people that build, I call it rocket ships, products with so many features, etc. No, what is the core thing that you're getting the clients that he couldn't do before? Just this, just focus on this thing, get to market, you'll work with clients, you'll get feedback. Suddenly you'll figure out that the reality is different than your vision, and you will work on those things. So get something very quick to market, focus on an application that improves someone's life in a very easy way, and build a prototype and then scale.
That's a good question. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. By the way.
Or you could reveal your secret startup that you're going to do.
I don't have it yet. So as maybe, I'm not sure if you just following all the recent event that all the tech companies doing at this time. Earlier this week, maybe Google already revealed their new strategy, how they build out the AI strategies around their entire companies. One of the impressive part to me was the agentic AI. That one is like now, I know that all the domain experts here try to build their own agent. We saw a bunch of use cases here too. One scary thing is that now we can see that you don't have to even work on that project by yourself. The model, once we define the problem space, model can train the problem space by itself, learn about how they can do that one by one. That is a bit scary. Also, in the meantime, it's gonna give us a lot of opportunities, by the way. You don't have to hire 1,000 people, even 100 people. Maybe 10 people, be the amazing extra agent by themselves. We don't need extra people. Just one person can do that by themselves, because the model can train and learn how to do that by itself, and they can define entire thing by itself. The other part is that's one part of the agent side, and the other part is the model itself. As time goes by, most of the tools and even data actually very accessible to most of the public, by the way. And nowadays, even the tools and I'm talking about the even training side, it's so easy to use now. You don't need to understand fully. You don't have to understand even GRPO that published by the DeepSeek earlier this week, this year, how they just have a secret recipe how they just tweak their reinforcement learnings the reward modeling side. You don't have to learn about their complex equations, because all the stuff is kind of ready to go in the Hugging Face. I mean, you go to Hugging Face, you can see a ton of even data, and even I'm talking about the public data, and even the model itself is unloaded and open to the public at this time. And ton of libraries available in the PyTorch. You don't need to even learn about the complex Java or even the C++. Python code, you can just train the model code by yourself. So that that's gonna also open up the more opportunity to a lot of people. So we can easily learn the even post-training and also fine-tuning, even pre-training too, by the way. So that I won't be super surprised. Is another a DeepSeek-ish company gonna jump in and introduce even much cheaper and lighter and better performance model in next maybe few quarters or a few years, because of this open environment in this community side. We're gonna observe a lot of fast movement, both modeling side, even agent side too.
Great, thanks. Okay, we have a minute, so any burning questions from the audience? One or two we'll take. Any? No burning questions for our distinguished panelists? Okay. Okay, well, why don't we end it here and a round of applause for our great speakers.
That's a wrap for our Demo Day 10. Thank you for staying until the very end. So for today's Demo Day section, all the music are generated by Wanderer. And you definitely have the mini CD. Do you have that? You can tap on your phone, on top of your phone, and you will get the team's information. You will get the information of today's Demo Day, and especially you can get to the access for trying Wanderer. Thank you so much for staying with us and supporting early stage startup to go international. We are taking applications. So if you know any startup who want to go global, refer to us. If you know any investor who want to invest into startups, let us know. If you want to work with startup, also feel free to let us know. I will see you in SparkLabs Taiwan Demo Day, maybe 11, I don't know. But we'll see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you.